Hello guys, and welcome to WildFire. It's here, finally. Way! So this is my first video of this series, which is going to be something a little bit different, something a bit more vloggy. Obviously, compared to other Wild 7 stuff, which is more games related. This will be games related, but it'll be slightly different. So I've been playing a lot of games recently, a lot of games that I've really enjoyed, some that I've enjoyed less, and it got me kind of thinking, what makes a game amazing? What has, to me, made things awesome? What kind of things do I really enjoy? So I thought to myself, you know what's quite interesting? Getting guys and girls to talk about what they really love, what has affected them in their life via games, because I find that really interesting. That to me is really something so powerful if a game can affect you in a certain way. So yeah, this series shall be 3 games that have affected you in some way. So, could be any way. Maybe it made you really sad, maybe it gave you divine intervention, who knows. But there are many games out there that I think affect people in so many different ways, and I wanted to talk about them, and I hope that you guys enjoy this. I hope it's not too boring for you. And if you can think of anything that has affected you, let me know. I want to know. I will have a read, talk about it on the next one if anyone has any comments. So without further ado, I shall go on to my number 1, which for me is a little old game called Mass Effect, and in particular Mass Effect 3. Which is very controversial because a lot of people hated the game. I wasn't much of a Mass Effect fan until the 3rd one. I played both of them, but not all the way through, not loved them, found them a bit clunky, a bit old. But the 3rd one came along and I just fell in love with this game. It was amazing. It wasn't necessarily groundbreaking. The fighting was quite, not dull, it was pretty standard, but it gave you this storyline which was amazing, and for me it was one of those ones where you could fall in love with whoever you wanted on your crew. And obviously this is a big title, this is BioWare and EA. 2012, which was a great year for games, I thought. But yeah, this huge company, and they created this world and this game where you could talk to everyone, you could have your own story arc with anyone, you could be gay, you could be straight, you could be bisexual, you could be whatever you want to be, and I got totally lost in that. I love that. So obviously you play as Shepard, who is the main protagonist from all of the Mass Effect series, the 3 so far. There are going to be some spoilers in this, guys, but to be honest, it's such an old game now. If you haven't already heard about it, then sorry. But yeah, you get to choose who you want to keep alive. I think it's a character called Ashley or a character called Kaidan. And I'd played with Kaidan before, I thought he was awesome. So I kept him alive. And literally, there was a love story between them both. You could do, obviously I played male Shep, so I had a gay relationship with him. And it was amazing, it was so nice, it was such a nice storyline. There was like genuine love there. It was like, I felt so attached to Kaidan as Shepard. I would take him out on every single mission. I felt really responsible for him, like I would look after him. Obviously you look after all your characters, there is a certain amount of love for every character in that game, but Kaidan especially, I felt this kind of connection, and it was amazing. I mean, I played the game like throughout, like just without stopping. Like I spent so long in my room just playing this game. Yeah, you're against these kind of group of kind of harvesters. I think they're called reavers, and they want to take over the world and harvest them and turn them into sort of synthetics. I mean, it got to the last mission and you get to select who you take with you, and I took my usual. I took Kaidan, and I took another character, I can't really remember right now, but it turns out that they die in this mission, and I was so upset I had to turn off and reset and take 2 other people, which was again still really difficult because I couldn't really decide who I wanted to kill, but I couldn't let Kaidan die, I just couldn't. So I changed that, and you have this, yeah, you have this beautiful storyline, and it's the same with everyone, it's the same with all the characters. You have a beautiful love kind of story arc and it kind of grows with Caden. You're having jokes, you're looking after him after he gets attacked, and you have kind of a love scene. It's really cute. Yeah, and obviously, I mean, that's not the only part of the game I loved, but that was a big part of it. I think just the choices and the effects in the game really kind of affected me. So there's so many different decisions like that in that game. And the ending, which a lot of people absolutely hate, but I really loved. You get to this big ship, the mothership of these Reavers, and you meet this AI, and basically they kind of tell you the only way that you can change the future of mankind, of everyone, is to make 3 choices. You have to either destroy synthetic life and normal life, I believe it is, kill everything in order to kind of restore peace, or you have to manifest all human life into synthetic life so they become one, but it's no longer human, if you know what I mean. Or the third one, which I chose, you could, as Shepherd, become part of the ship and control this group of Reavers. You can control them and do good with them. And I felt like that was the right thing to do. And I felt, as my character, I kind of thought, right, I'm Shepherd, what do I want to do? This is what my character would do. He would sacrifice himself to save humankind and synthetics and everyone. And I kind of had this like internal monologue where I was like, but what about Caden? I'll leave him on his own. And all this sort of thing. But yeah, and you kind of have this last cutscene of him becoming part of the ship, and he just becomes not human anymore. He's disintegrates and becomes like a kind of hive mind in this ship. You see them fly off, and the Normandy, the big ship in Mass Effect, is landed somewhere. They sort of have this sort of like meeting, seems almost like a funeral or something. Caden's there. I cried throughout the end credits. I was just in tears. I'm so glad no one walked in on me, because it would have been so horrible. Such a lame moment of my life. But I find that amazing that a game could have that effect on me. I wasn't sad at that point in my life. It wasn't anything that was affecting me, you know. So it was no hormone imbalance, you know. I just, yeah, I felt so affected by that game and by that end of that story, and probably the just coming together of all these hours I'd spent on this game, and they come together to this one point where I had to make this massive decision. And it's almost like a cathartic experience, if anyone did theatre. It's the idea of, you have this build up until the big emotional kind of explosion at the end. So yeah, to me that really affected me, and I loved it for that. I felt so amazed that something had that much of an effect, you know? So yeah, that is my first choice, Mass Effect 3. Let me know if you guys have played that, and let me know if you feel the same, because I know that a lot of people really hated it. I personally loved it. I'm sure there are other people out there that did. So yeah, that is my first choice. And my second choice is another 2012 game, another PlayStation game, a PlayStation exclusive actually, this one, and that is Journey, which was an indie game by, I think, the company called That Game Company, along with Sony. And Journey is the strangest game. It's beautiful and strange. You don't have any kind of clue what you're coming into. You just open the game and you are this weird character that you can't see any skin. He's just a kind of caped figure, very stylized, cartoony almost. Got a big hat on, glowing eyes, and a scarf. And you're just on a desert dune, and you're just looking, and you see this massive light kind of come down from the sky and land on this big giant mountain you're looking at. And then the game begins, and you have no idea. All you know is that you're heading towards that light. And it's just amazing. It's, I mean, for quite an old game, I mean 2012, that's pretty old now. That's 3-4 years ago now. But yeah, you start heading towards this beautiful light. And at that point in the game, it's really fast-paced, and you're rolling down these sand dunes, and the sand is glistening under the sun. It's just morning, like it kind of happens as a day cycle. So yeah, it's morning, and the sun is so bright, and you're strolling along, and you're kind of gliding and jumping, and just starting to learn the game. But it's amazing, like, it's just so pretty. The colours are so vivid orange at this point, and oh yeah, it's just amazing. The music as well, it's all orchestrated, and sort of starts quiet. and as you go on, I mean, level by level, everything changes. There are levels where it sort of seems underwaterish, but it's kind of inside caves, and there are these giant squid things that are quite scary, but it's totally different from this orange that you've had before. Each has a different tone. Like you have an orange, and you have a red, and then you have a dark, and it's almost green, and then you have a blue, and it's just amazing. So yeah, you go through and you collect these pieces of your scarf, and the music all changes constantly. Like it's all orchestrated, but it will all of a sudden be very much string based, or it'll be horns. And yeah, you never really know what you're doing. It's kind of, all you know is you've got this one mission to head to this light. You are having this journey. That is the whole point of it. It's such an indie game, but I mean, it's not a long game either. It takes, I think, an hour and a half maybe. But you continue through this thing, and you're really struggling as a character. You can see the struggle. I mean, there is this one bit where it becomes snowy, and you can see your character is starting to ice up, and his scarf ices over, and you can't use your magic, and it's really quiet. And every time you kind of do your little chant, it's really like there's hardly anything coming out, and it's so small. So it makes the game so much more difficult. Like there is a certain difficulty to that part of the game. You're heading up this mountain, you're really close to it at this point, and there is this moment where you can't see anything apart from white snowstorm, and your character is hunched over and so cold, and he's just dragging himself up this mountain. You feel like he's almost dying, and he just eventually collapses to the ground, and you think, wow, what is happening? Is that it? And these other creatures that are the same as him come along, and they sort of bring him back to life, and all of a sudden you have again this sort of cathartic moment where you run back up this top of this mountain, and you find this beautiful, almost cloud-based city with massive kind of silk scarves going through the air and magic carpets almost, and at this point it's so fast-paced, and again the music is picked up, and you're gliding through the air. It's amazing. Such a great moment of game ever. It's really close to this bright light, and then you eventually land, and you slowly walk back towards this light. Your scarf is massively long by now, trailing behind you. It grows throughout the game, and you walk through the light, and then it starts again, the game, and you're back to where you were before. And at first I was really confused. I was like, what's going on? But after thinking about it, I thought to myself, that's the whole point. It's this one journey, that's it. It's a continual journey. You've had a journey playing this game. The character has had a journey. It's sort of like you're one and the same, and it sort of is so simple, but so beautiful. And I mean, I always talk about journey so much. I tell people all the time, kind of say to them, play this game, it's cheap now, buy it, it's amazing, it's beautiful. And you have such a nice moment with it, and you come together at the end of the game, and you've had this wonderful journey, and I felt really complete, and I felt like it affected me in a sort of like, I just felt so happy afterwards. Like you've gone through this ordeal of going through the snow place, and it was such a struggle, and you kind of really feel like, oh my god, get through. You sort of have this gliding moment, and it's beautiful. It's almost like heavenly. It does have that sort of feel to it, and you complete your journey, and you feel so spectacular, and you remember all the levels. I remember at the end it goes through it travels through all the levels, and then comes to the beginning, and it was like, oh, that game was amazing. Like I would play that so many more times. So yeah, that's my second choice, Journey. Again, leave a comment. Let me know if you've played Journey, let me know what you thought of it. There are other games by the same company that are amazing, very indie again. But yeah, let me know. That is my number 2 choice. And my number 3 choice was a bit more difficult to choose. I couldn't really decide. I knew those were my other 2, but third for me was quite difficult. I had a lot of runners up. I decided to choose Skyrim. Again, I went for 3 modern games, which probably is very different to some of my friends. But yeah, I went for the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which is number 5, I believe. I think it's 2011. Obviously Bethesda was the creator, who are an amazing company. They've made so many good games. They made Star Wars The Old Republic, which was another amazing game that I loved. They made Fallout. That's the big ones for them, and they are known for their storytelling and their beautiful kind of massive worlds. So for me, I loved Skyrim. I just got lost in it, and I've spent the longest amount of time I could ever spend on a game on Skyrim. Yeah, and I've had it on about 3 different consoles. I played it through each time massively. But yeah, I'm sure everyone's heard of Skyrim. Everyone knows it. It's very popular. It's very influential. But yeah, it's one of these games, like the mythology for it is so great. It's very Nordic. It's very fantasy. There are dragons flying around. It is such an escapist game, and I think that's what has affected me most about Skyrim. Was I just felt lost in this game, and I didn't want to get found. I was happy being lost. I spent hours, and the hours just go. They're just gone. Like, you can be doing the most menial task. You could be making swords. You could be looking in a cave. There might not even be anything in the cave. That's the beauty of it. You found this weird cave and you don't know anything about it. I mean, it has a storyline, but Skyrim is not about the main storyline. I mean, the main storyline is so short. It's about exploration, and it's the same with all Bethesda games. Exploration. There's so much to the game. It's massive, and you can never really complete it. There's just always something to do. You can go explore on your horse and ride to the furthest west or wherever. You can go kill dragons. You can go kill a bear, a saber-tooth. You could go find a wife. You could go have a child. You could go, I don't know, find masks. There are a whole collection of masks that was a big part of it. You could go explore a dwarven temple, which are huge and terrifying. But yeah, that's my point, is that it is so escapist. Like, you just escape into this beautiful world that's been created so vividly, so beautifully. I mean, 80 hours, 100 hours, however many hours, I spent so long on that game. I will say, I think I enjoyed it more on consoles, which is probably very controversial again, only because I think you focus more on it as a game when you don't have the choice to mod it out completely. I would say, I mean, it's so different on the computer, and it's amazing on the computer, and as a world, I think it's just so much more complete on console, because you don't have that sort of chance to edit it. It's as it's been set, it's as it's been created. That's how they've wanted you to receive it, and that's how you kind of live the world, which I think is more the point. I mean, it's a great game for being modded, and there are some amazing mods. There are some hilarious mods, there are some great mods, there are some beautiful mods. I know a lot of people would prefer it on PC, and a lot of my friends would say the exact same. And I do, I have it on PC, and it would be my preferred thing now, but I think as I'm trying to talk about what's influenced me and what's affected me when I was a bit younger, I would say the console-based one was more effective to me, and it was a beautiful world, and I loved it. And I might have been having a really hard day, sixth form, and I would just go home and play Skyrim, and an hour would turn into 2 hours, would turn into 3 hours, and you would just go exploring, and you'd be your character, and I loved my character. It's just one of those games that I did love, and I found it affected me in a beautiful way, and it really helped me, and I'm sure it would do the same, helped me have this place to escape to. And I think some games nowadays fail to do that. I mean, Fallout 4, which has only just recently come out, is a great example of another game that's very similar. Less my style. I think fantasy is more for me. I think fantasy for me is more, because it's less realistic, I feel like it's more of a world I want to go to. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is my number 3, and my third and final. So overall, yeah, I'll just go back to say that I made this video just because I find it so interesting that games have effects on people. And I mean, a lot of people who aren't gamers would be like, how can a game affect you? It's just a game, just shooting someone or whatever. But they don't know. They don't know nothing. I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Leave a little comment to tell me what has affected you. I would love to know. And yeah, I'm going to make this a thing. So I'm going to get my friends to come along and talk about what has affected them in the gaming world. I'm sure they'll be very different, but I feel like it would be interesting. So let me know if you enjoy it, and I will continue. Again, more along this sort of line. I think vlogs are great. I think they're a great way to just talk with you guys. So tell me what you want me to do, and I will oblige happily. Feel free, leave a like, a comment. Find me on Twitter, on Instagram. We are at WildFire Talks, so on Twitter and Instagram. So yeah, I'll leave a link down below, find us there, and hopefully loads more videos to come. I'll be trying to upload at least once a week, trying to do different series. Again, I'll do an intro video so you guys can watch and see what we're going to do, but I hope you enjoy, and I'll speak to you guys later. Bye! This is a beautiful loot crate, and it's a very big one today. Very big. Big as my head.